Brandy and Brian. When I hugged you guys at Celebration of Life and you mentioned that you didn't get to hear any of the stories of Hiltonhead from Colin, I wanted to make sure that you did. And so I created a video with all of the stories from each of the different people who went on the trip, telling their own story and their own favorite part of the trip and what the trip meant to them. So here are those videos, and I hope you enjoy, and just know that we love you guys and we love Colin.
It's like Illuminati. We were an hour away.
We were passing where they were, and they were like...
My favorite memory from Hilton Head was after Colin and Evelyn and a few others all welcomed us with so many hugs. We all sat around in the living room and we got to hear about all the stories from the summer, the highs, the lows, the embarrassing, the time that Colin and Ev got to spend together. We got to hear funny stories, good stories, and it was just a really sweet time. We also got to hear a story about how Colin wanted to go to Ukraine and his heart behind it. And I was talking to him later, and it was just really inspiring to hear how he was going to give his life up for others and for the Lord. And there's just so many good memories of just getting to come back together after 2 months and it always being the same between us. It was truly a few days that I won't forget, and I'm so thankful. Okay.
We can go wherever, ever, leave them all behind. I'm giving you all my...
Hey, Brandy and Brian. I love thinking back to the Hilton Head trip and looking back through the memories. It's definitely a trip that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And I'm so thankful that you guys set that up for us to be able to do. The first and most obvious memory that comes to mind when I think of the Hilton Head trip was the first night me, Colin, and Kay.missions were sleeping together in that king bed downstairs. And Colin was in the middle and I was on the left side, and we were like pretty close, you know, like kind of like sardines in a can, just kind of like one next to each other. And I blame having a girlfriend now for this, but it was like an hour and a half or 2 hours into the night. I kind of like was half asleep, half awake. And then I was like, our faces were like really close together. And then I don't know, whatever. I like kind of like kissed his cheek a little bit just because like, I don't know, like Emily, like, whatever it was. And then I felt a beard rubbing against my face and I was like, oh my gosh. And then it woke me up and I like rolled over to the side and I was like, hopefully he didn't notice that or whatever. And then the next morning I wake up and Emily walks up, did you know you kissed Colin? And I was like, I kissed Colin last night. I really did. So anyway, that was a kind of a joke of the week. It was fun to talk about and definitely something I'll remember for the rest of my life. But I'm super thankful for you guys, praying for you. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Every day on my mind and I just can't get you out. I just want you, all of you out to...
So I guess my favorite memory was actually with Colin, which is awesome. We were walking back to the condo. Well, we were at the beach and we ended up finishing at the beach and started walking back. And I wanted to talk to Colin. So everybody kind of split apart walking there. And I was like, hey, can you hold on for a second? He was like, all right, cool. And then I just wanted to know how he was doing. And I was like, hey man, how are you doing? He's like, dude, I'm doing amazing. I can't really say exactly what he said, but what I can remember is that his response was filled with so much of the Lord. And when I talked to him, I really realized, like, man, this guy's serious about God. Because even after coming back home and going through the monotony of everything, he still was on fire. He's still such a role model for me, and it's such a blessing. Even when I deal with stuff just now, like, I remember that, you know, he's up there with God. And he's watching what I'm doing. I'm just like, man. If God really changed him like that, really gave him that much strength, how should I be doing? And it's such a blessing. But yeah, that was my favorite memory from Hilton Head. Yeah. God bless you guys.
What's happening? Foot touching. Foot touching?
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Sullivan. I hope you guys are doing well. I just wanted to say thank you so much for raising Colin, and he has changed my life for the better. And even in his passing, he's changed my life as I think about how I'm gonna carry on his legacy and all that he stood for. As a believer and as like a follower of Jesus, he was such a light to me, and I learned so much from him. I think I'm really like have been sitting on how much zeal he had for the Lord, is what I want to carry on in this life. But yeah, so when we were at the beach before R&R, I remember getting there, he kept singing Texas Sun by Leon Bridges, but he was like saying Texas Fun. Like he kept being like, Texas Fun, like every 5 minutes. And we were all like, okay, we get it. You like the song. I have like a vivid memory of him when we got to the beach, like sprinting to the water. Like we were all like, just, you know, going to the beach, walking down to the beach, and then he literally just like ripped off his shirt and started running to the water. And he started playing spike ball, all these things. Was just like a beautiful picture of how like free Colin was, and I like have that memory like forever stuck in my head. I also remember the night we were all like sitting on the couch, and he was like sitting next to Evelyn, had his arm around her. He was like talking about how much he loved her. We were asking him like what he didn't like about the race and what he didn't agree with, and he was like, I just wish that like they would have, you know, treated us better as a couple. Was just talking about like all of that. His love for Evelyn was like so evident and obvious, and it always was, but getting to see them after the race was such a privilege because I never really got to see them in like full couple mode on the race. But just being able to like see the way he loved her so much and cared for her, and even just how they were friends. Like they just would joke around all the time. Like they were hilarious around each other. That he like lit up a room, and he loved Evelyn so well. He loved all of us so well. He was the heartbeat of Gap I for sure. Yeah, I will forever have learned so much from Colin, and I'm so thankful to God that I even got to know him for the year that I did know him. And yeah, so I hope you guys are doing well. Just know that you guys are in my thoughts and in my prayers. And yeah, I love you guys.
My favorite memory from Hilton Head was probably when me and Colin just got asked a lot of questions about our relationship. And I let Colin just like answer all of them because I was like, I want to hear what you have to say. Yeah, it was really sweet and a really awesome time to just like reflect. on how good it's been and how faithful the Lord is. Yeah. Yeah, the Lord knew what he was doing, so.
We can go wherever, ever, leave them all behind. I'm giving you all.
My favorite part of Hilton Head, or at least the memory that sticks out when I think back about it, is we just gotten there. It was just a few of us, Colin, me, Evelyn, I think just Amelia and Zach and Kirby were all there. And Colin pulled out his guitar, and it instantly brought back all these memories of when we would worship together, him, me, and Evelyn on the race. He was always able to encourage me to like join them in worship, whereas singing was something that I wasn't always super confident in. And so we sat down on the couch in Hilton Head, and he started playing his guitar, and I was like, Colin, play The Stand, which is one of my favorite worship songs. And so he pulled it up on his phone and he started playing it, and we just sang that song together. And I'm so thankful that I got that moment to just kind of worship with him one last time before he passed. And that was one of my favorite moments of Hilton Head, getting to sit there and just worship with Colin and sit around with all of the people and all of my squad and reconnect like time had not passed. I also got to be a part of the kitchen crew, and so help cook and feed everybody, and that was really cool, to just bring everybody together. And food and community brings everybody together, and that was what Hilton Head was. It was a place to reconnect. It was a place to be crazy, tell stories, to catch up, and it's something that I will never forget. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to stay there, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to spend that weekend with Colin. I'm gonna film this because it's too good. Jiggles. Wow.